Welcome to episode 15 of Mom Knows Ball. I am Jordan King, joined with the floral, decked out in her green shirt mom, Melinda King. The namesake herself. How are we doing, Mom?
We're doing okay. Full disclosure, we had mentioned I was going to go down to this OU game. And so I traveled to my first away game, not a neutral site game.
She doesn't do this, folks.
And so maybe I'm not meant to go to these away games because losing a game in somebody else's house that you got to walk out of is a whole different feeling than losing a game in a neutral site, or even losing a game at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny. So yeah, I'm okay. But hey, this is how football is.
Yeah, and I will say, my mom handles an L better than anyone I know. But even last night, I could tell that she was, she wasn't as optimistic as she normally was. And I think that loss, seeing that kind of loss in person, again, Oklahoma is Oklahoma, but they're not the typical Oklahoma this year. A game we were expected to win, and we didn't just lose. We lost handedly. We didn't score a touchdown. It was 3-24. So it definitely. I felt for her, and I could sense that she was. I was wondering if you were going to do the podcast today, and you were like, you know what, I got to go on and I gotta just talk it out. But yeah, it wasn't our best game, to say the least, and our college, football playoff chances are really up in the air. But what did you, in one word, what did you see? Was it one thing or just in general? Was it the offense, the turnovers? We didn't get up for this game. What was it?
It just felt like, you can watch a game and you can go, oh, our offense is not doing well, but our defense is handling things. And our offense is doing well, but gosh, they got to score so many points to win. It felt like a little bit of both. I mean, obviously they got 14 quick points on turnovers. So you can't really put that on the defense. And again, I'm not trying to be a coach, even though sometimes I think I am. You go with the offense, it's like, was that the play we call? So then you say, if that's the play we call, then you go, okay, coaches, let's kind of work on this. Or did we improvise? So yeah, the offense just never looked like that offense that went down to Baton
42
Rouge.
And yeah.
And it was very it was troubling from the beginning, and then it just got worse. But look, I'm always gonna roll with the tide. But look, there were some good things that were happening to some of our Bama players in the NFL today. I know.
Yeah,
I know how much I love Bryce Young.
Yeah, we got a lot of disciples of the Bama Saban era, and it was a good day to be a former Alabama football player in the NFL. I watched from start to finish Bryce Young play the Chiefs. Again, no one expected them to cover, to get any kind of, to be in a close game in any way. And I mean, I know they ended up losing, and it's, that's not the headline. I think everyone knows that who watched the game. It's that Bryce just looked comfortable. He looked like college Bryce out there. He had this kind of you could tell he was just slicing and dicing, and he was very surgical. He was decisive. That was the big thing I noticed. Is when he wanted to run, he would run. When he wanted to stand in the pocket, he would stand in the pocket. And I remember watching that first game of the season, the Saints game, and he just didn't look like himself. In this game, it was I think we all he just looked like he was taking those risks. He was hitting the balls he should have hit and getting the receivers in stride and like standing in the pocket and like knowing when to go out. I mean, he I think statistically, he went into the fourth quarter with more passing yards than
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes,
Yep.
and he ended up, throwing for 262. I think Mahomes was 269. So
Yeah.
it's like that team in general, they got everything out of Bryce. And I think if you're a Panthers fan, you're like, whoa, like we knew things were trending upwards, but this is a championship level team defense. And Bryce looked great. And I think that warmed my heart as always a Bryce defender. And then on top of that, Tua, it's kind of been undersold. Like that team is still in the playoff hunt, and Tua, throws for 4 touchdown passes, and people were wondering is Tua a lead or not. We saw what that team looked like without him, and it's night and day. Like he is, I think his value of like what kind of quarterback is he and what he brings to that team, his anticipation, his timing, pacing, it's second to none. And I love seeing him. I know obviously they were playing the Patriots, but in the NFL, any given Sunday, like you saw that today. So
Yep.
it was a good day to be yeah. It was a little silver lining to a tough Saturday.
Well, it was. And and let me take this moment with Bryce because I didn't get a chance to watch the entire game, so I could only watch pieces of it. But the moment when they were trying to get, I think it was the 2-point conversion to tie up the game. I'm pretty sure this is the moment. Or the touchdown, one of those, that last drive. He extended that play like that was Bama Bryce, because Bryce did that exact same thing with a play. Oops, there's my phone. With a play on. I'm not sure why our producer Tammie is calling. Maybe she's calling to say we're not recording. I have no idea. We'll
No,
figure that out.
yeah.
But he extended a play against Auburn, the same thing. It was like it was a dead play, but because he extended it, because he threw the ball, in the direction of a receiver, a catchable ball, they got a pass interference, and as a result of that, we got another set of downs, and he did that, and I was just like, okay, that is my boy. So yeah, we are also going to start probably transitioning to start talking a little bit about basketball, like the NBA, college hoops, but we still got a lot of football to play, even though our two teams, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Hey, you know what? We never say never with Bama, and who knows? The Jaguars could win out and get in the wild card game and go on a crazy run. So never say never. We're internal optimists here. I think Mom more than me, but I've been told amongst my friends that I'm pretty optimistic as well. So gonna see the positive. I'm also in first place in my fantasy league for anyone who cares, which is probably no one. But yeah, I think at this point we are going to introduce our guest of the episode.
I'm so excited to have Joshua and Tammie joining our Mom Knows Ball podcast. So I'm going to let them better introduce themselves. But Joshua Casher was a student athlete at the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Let's do it. While I worked there, and he was like of course he was a great student, of course he was a great athlete, but he was just such a friend of the community. A lot of times for student athletes, they're there and they're doing that job and they don't get as involved with the rest of campus and other students. Like I remember one time, Josh, we were interviewing a candidate for a vice president role, and I was part of the hiring committee, and Josh stopped by the Career Center, and I said, look, we need some students in there talking to this person. We need to know, like, is this person going to be good for the campus? And Jordan was, and excuse me, Joshua was like, oh yeah. And he just went over there. Now, I have to think that the free lunch was a little bit of an incentive for you making that walk
Well,
over.
look here. I was on the offensive line, so of course, hey, we ain't missing no meals around here. We ain't missing no type of meal. I ain't missing nothing growing up. So
Yeah. And Josh, if you could move a little bit closer to your mom, because like I said, we want to make sure we see the face. So anyway, what
I
I'd
got
like for
y'all.
both of y'all to do, if you can, Miss Tammie, if you could introduce your son to us and, tell us a little something, a little fun about him. And then Joshua, we will let you introduce your mom. So tell us a
Oh,
little
this
bit
ought to
about
be good.
Joshua Casher.
This ought to be good here. I can't wait to hear this.
Well, I mean, it's so much to say about Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess I could start when he was younger. Um, he was always the peacemaker in the family. Like if the other siblings were, arguing or whatever like that, he would always, you know, just diffuse everything, even as a young boy. Um, some other things I could say, he was always an excellent student as far as academics. I mean, from the first grade on up, And even though he's a big, strong body, he has a humbleness about himself. And that's what I love about my son. And I could say so much more.
I
I don't know how
know.
many minutes I have.
I know.
But that's what I want everybody to know about Joshua. He has a humbleness about himself, even though he's a big, strong boy,
I
man.
love that. Will you describe your mom to us?
Ooh, goodness gracious. Now I truly probably couldn't say enough words. I would try to say that this woman here, like it doesn't do it justice. Words really can't describing like who she is and what she is to me. As far as the humility and the man that I am, teaching me how to love God most of all and how to love people. I think not only did she teach us that, but she demonstrated it. She was a model behind it. Sometimes, in amazement, I didn't understand like how in the world did you raise 5 kids under the age of 14? It's just miraculous. And I asked her that one day, and she was just like, it really wasn't that hard to me. I just did it. Now anybody else would have been like, what do you mean it wasn't hard? But she
Yeah.
really taught us to love each other and to be close. And all of us now, what's funny, I think, to describe mom, none of our personality is like hers. All of us, she raised us because she raised us to love so hard and to respect people. We have big, bold personality. None of us meet a stranger, whereas mom is a little bit more reserved. So I think in a lot of ways she kind of lives out that side that she's not like through her kids just watching us just interact with people. But
I like
a
it.
testament to just who she is, the morale, the character, the intangibles from discipline, from authenticity, genuineness.
Yeah. Yes.
That's who she is, and she got that from her mother, my grandmother. So
Yes.
it's just I can't say enough words. She was the first person that told me, she told me something that I never forget. I might have been about 13, 14. I was really diving even deeper into football. She said, never forget this. She said, no one can make you great. Greatness is already within you. And I took that and I ran with it. I'm engaged now,
Um,
and a lot of the attributes, I catch myself seeing in my fiance. I'm like, you're like my mom in so many ways. So, it's a different kind of love, but I believe that is true when they say like a lot of the time the type of woman that you want in your life to have a family with, you do look for those character traits in that your mother actually possessed. So I
Oh,
believe that to be true.
that makes so much sense. And Joshua Casher, okay, we gotta talk about some football here. Okay, so
Okay.
we're gonna start with some good here. All right, we're gonna start with the fact that okay, you were an offensive lineman
Mhm.
at the University of Alabama. What were the years that you were there from?
I was there for 2014 to 2019. The 2018 season.
And so during that time, did we win any kind of championships or did we win any big games or I can't remember.
We've been through so much. Well, they said we couldn't do this, man. They said we couldn't do this. They doubted us all season. Them on back on top of the mountain.
I don't see how you can't remember. That's all I feel like we did. And I know most likely within the 5 seasons I was there, we may have lost no more than 6 games, 6 or 7 games. I know my freshman year, we only lost 2. The following year, we only lost 2. The year after that, 1. The year after that may have been 1. So oh goodness, like every year, starting this year, they're honoring like the 10-year reunion from 2014. So I went to Alabama and they were on the 2014 SEC championships. Well, I began to think about it. Mom was with me. From this year up until 2028, I will be going back to Alabama every year for them honoring a championship that we won, whether it was SEC or national championship.
Wow.
Crazy.
So you got a few rings,
I
right?
do. I hate to say that I have 2 national championship rings. I always say I should have had 4, but the 2 years that we actually lost we lost in the national championship, it breaks my heart. We were undefeated and we lost in the national championship game. And so
Yeah.
a lot of people, don't get me wrong, I understand Georgia, I understand Auburn, some people even Tennessee, LSU. But Clemson they'll forever be my number 1 rivalry because they took 2
Yeah.
championships from me.
Yeah.
We beat them my second year, and then the following year, and then my senior year, they got us.
But again, Josh, you got 2 national championships. You got a few, maybe 4 SEC championships.
We never lost the SEC championship. We
Yeah,
never
so
lost when I was there. We never
so
lost.
and hey, Joshua Jordan was believe it or not, in middle school, he was a center on his middle school team.
Mhm.
He was a
It was
role-
tackle and the center. And
and
I like the fact that I could that I got to start the play. You know, like I knew I wasn't going to be catching touchdown passes, but at least I got to touch the ball, and we were always in the shotgun. And again, I had some bad snaps for sure, but it was like nice to be the one to, the play starts with me. So I like that
I should have
aspect
took
of it.
that
And
approach at Alabama. I never thought of it like that. Like literally,
I always like that about this. And you also have to guard normally the like less, I guess, like the least aggressive defensive lineman. In my head, that's what it was. I mean, I wasn't a great
Jordan, I
blocker
ain't gonna
either.
tell you
So
that
that's
story.
the
I
thing.
feel like the nose guard, that was
Yeah.
the craziest one. When I was at
Yeah, the nose guard, yeah, they're like normally the heaviest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I got cooked a lot. Like, I think I allowed a lot. I allowed a lot of sacks, but you know what? The ball got there at least, and so the quarterback from there, it was up to him to figure it out. So
I got you.
part of what we talk about on this podcast is the bond that sports creates between moms and their kids. And I share stories all the time. One that I was thinking about today was when Jordan and I moved to Dallas the first time, we started going to watch Alabama football games at this Tide in Texas group. And it was kind of like our little ritual. If, we would every Saturday, and that was, again, when we started, Bama wasn't the Bama. Like
No.
we Coach
I
Saban
think the
wasn't
first
coach.
year we were there, it was the Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah,
Everyone
we
talked about that
yeah,
being, yeah, we lost to Louisiana
yeah.
Monroe.
So
So.
and now that was a bond for us. Now I will say this about my son. He is always going to focus on the meal situation and the food situation. So when we would go out to this hotel to watch these games, Jordan would scout out the buffet every time.
I was carb loading. I was getting in shape. I was getting ready for the football season that, I was going to be playing. So extra chicken tenders, got to make sure the Texas toast, like
Yeah,
what's
so
the like yeah, there was a lot of dynamics, like what's the soda situation. So again, no working out was done, but was definitely putting in the time at the table. So yeah.
I guess
so that for me that's a cute memory.
Yeah.
I guess we brothers from another mother, because that sounds like
Yeah.
me right now. I'm telling you.
And so when you all think about, if you could, is there some like special little bonding moment, with sports as a backdrop? Because like when I tell that story, like there was no sports taking place. There was watching TV and eating food that was probably really bad for us, but it bonded us. So anything
Calories
you
don't
all
count
could
when the Tide are playing. So
what's that, Jordan?
I said calories don't count when the Tide are playing. So
Yeah, I like that. Anything y'all can think of that was kind of like a sports moment that really bonded you?
What you get? You want to go first, Mom?
You can go first.
Okay, all right. I think, matter of fact, she sent me something this week that was the picture that you sent me.
Yes.
So this was after we beat Georgia in the national championship game. After we beat Georgia in the national championship game, okay, of course y'all know how it ended, 2nd and 26, and the crowd, like, we went wild, we stormed the field, I ran around the whole field. Somehow, my mom made her way down, and I was able to get to her I was able to get to her. Like, I spotted her, she spotted me, and after the game, they took a picture with me and her. She's like right at the Raptors, and I'm reaching up and I'm holding her hand. And I actually have the picture. She sent it to me.
Yes.
She sent it to me this week, just being with the time from high school and stuff like that. I had to know she was there. When I see that she was there, I was good.
Yeah.
I was good. I actually feel like I played better. I played so much better just knowing, like, at least if I know that she made it, or even if I couldn't necessarily see her, I would have to tell myself, she's in the stands. I know this Alabama. I can't necessarily see her. But, like, I don't know. It was just a little bump. Half the time, I didn't even know. Because, nobody really pays attention to the offensive line. It's not the most glorified position. So I used to laugh because I used to be like, Mom, do you even know what I'm doing on the field?
And I
like,
did.
And she did. She did.
I did.
But it was like, I think with football, it really, now she's a big diehard fan and stuff like that. Grandmama even worse.
Yes.
But it's like it was really good, like those bonds. But that's one moment at Bama that I definitely remember, and just like them just coming up, just that what it provided for our family, like that out, and now it's just like it's normalized. Like Saturdays, what time's Bama playing and stuff like that. We grew up, Bama fans, but once I got there, it took over the family.
Yeah, it did. And I
love
look
that.
forward every Saturday to coming to the games. I did. So it was.
So Miss Tammie, do you have a story, or like a special bonding story that you want to share with us, or?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, I don't remember. I know it was one of the SEC games,
Mm-hmm.
and Josh was so excited, and we got home the next day, and he had broke his
That
foot
was Florida.
and didn't know it.
He had broke what?
He broke his foot.
Mm-hmm.
He was so
Wow.
excited and running around everywhere, he didn't realize it was broken until I guess he came down off, all
The big high.
And yeah, the next day I had to go back and they did major surgery.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So
So did you broke your foot celebrating, or was it just like during
Okay,
like
that was the thing that everybody on the team was teasing
I
me
just
about.
seems like
Everybody
that?
used
I
to
mean,
say,
respectfully, I
no,
gotta
no, no, no.
ask.
You're saying it, but that's where they was like, Cash, how you break your foot celebrate? But in reality, it was a legit play that happened. And like I said, I was like high and everything. And then I began to feel like, hey, something is not right. And I began to hop around. Next thing you know, I had a Jones fracture.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fifth metatarsal on
Wow.
my foot.
Yes. Yeah.
And Josh and I have several memories, and I'm gonna tell a story. I'm gonna tell on you, Joshua.
Good gracious.
So I was in Atlanta because again I worked for Alabama, so I was in Atlanta for a conference that was gonna push right up to the SEC championship game. So of course, what do? You come early to go to the SEC championship game, and I just booked a hotel. I end up staying in the very same hotel with the team. So that means that Mr. Joshua Casher was in my hotel at, I don't know, midnight the night before his game. So way past curfew. Let's just put it like that. Because it might have been after midnight. Josh called and said they stopped serving room service, but I'm hungry. So we went. Now Josh is out past curfew. He still got on all his Alabama
Oh
gear.
goodness, I do remember that. Yes.
And I'm like, are you sure? And we walked up to some place that was open because it was late. It was, it
Wow,
was
that
kind
is a memory I did not. That really bring back memories. It was some type of like sports bar. It was like a sports
that
bar
was
that was just
open really
open.
late. And if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, one of your coaches saw you.
I passed them. I passed one of our coaches on the way out, and I was just like, I'm with Melinda, so I'm good. No, that what it was. I said, I'm just, I'm walking with Melinda back to her hotel, knowing I was like, man, I'm just hungry. That's all. I was. Oh my goodness.
Gonna get my mom in trouble.
Well, thank you, you sweet lady, for feeding him. Thank you.
You know what? As I think about it, as an administrator on campus, I probably had no business doing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, good times,
That's
good
just probably
times.
one of many. Gosh, I remember that. And see, I told mom like right before we came on and we were gonna speak about our story. I said, I guarantee she's gonna hit me with some stories
Yeah.
that because it's been so many that was and I remember that just as plain as day. I'm talking about you would have thought we was just out and about, eating, having a good old time.
That was sweet.
Past my curtain. And I was like, one thing I don't believe even to this day, I don't believe in going to bed hungry. So
And that's exactly what I was like, Josh, is this okay? It's like, I'm not going to bed hungry. What am I supposed to do? Go to bed hungry? And again, like, I think if he had been a little bit more, maybe not so much logo, and he just,
He was decked out in team gear. He was like, I'm gonna get my food regardless. If a coach sees me, they see me, but
And they did. Okay, we gotta do it. Okay, Bama yesterday. I went down to the game. I went to OU. I told somebody this. I said my season with Bama has felt like one day this is a team. Oh, this is a team that almost looks like an NFL team, because we always used to say those Bama teams could beat the worst NFL team. And then some days, it's I hate to say it because I love the Tide. I'm always going to roll with the Tide. Like a middle school team. Last night was just very difficult to just manage for me emotionally. So how y'all feeling about the season, about the game?
I would say when I was there, when we lost a game, we were expected honestly to number one win the national championship every year. It won a year we expected to win the national championship, but also if we lost, it was like devastating to us because we were just like, what did we do? We never thought that anybody, and this made, I don't believe it was arrogant, but that's the confidence we had in our preparation and ourselves. We we were like, what did we do? What did we do wrong? Because we know Alabama's A game versus anybody else in the country A game. Honestly, it won't be close. So, I think that you have a lot of guys that with the team, I feel like it's steady finding its identity even this late in the season. Because I
Yeah.
think once you find your identity, then how can you lose it?
Yeah.
So, it's
So
just
you,
And I
one
so
of
you
those.
think they're
and I
kind
do
of,
think,
go
yeah,
ahead.
it just seems like
Mhm.
the elephant in the room, and it's like we still have the talent that we did with
Mhm.
Saban and DeBoer's, and and like he's won. There's been this, this basically you are following up a legend, and so people are looking for those slips in the cracks, and like we're winning. We've won the games that we've expected to win, or the biggest matchups we've had this year. But it seems like the attention to detail, like you talk about, we don't, we slip up against a Vanderbilt. We slip up, last night. Like we're almost drinking our own Kool-Aid, and we all know Nick Saban would call that Kool-Aid rat poison, and it feels like there's not that follow up and that attention to detail and that, hey, like move on to the next one. And maybe that takes time. Like I do think he's shown to be a good coach, but at the same time, you gotta win the ones you're expected to win, and also come to play when the games get tough. So
Well, I would say this, and definitely stepping into coaching this year, it opened my eyes to so much. I think it's so easy for, like, a lot of people. And I'm not speaking about you, Jordan. I'm speaking in general, but like I think it's a lot of people, especially our fans, because our fans can be extremely critical. I think, they point being like, oh, well, Coach Saban would have never did this. Coach Saban would have never done that. And some of that may be true. But I know when you do step into a program with the new staff and everything, it takes time for that staff to even get to build a relationship and bond with those players that may have
Yeah.
been there when Coach Saban was there. The way he does things may be completely different from how Coach Saban did, where you may get players that actually respond better to his approach than they may
Yeah.
have responded to Coach Saban's approach. So I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, and I will always say this, when you do have that source of talent, um, I would say, like, yes, it is managing, and there is definitely good coaching that is involved. But I just think for me as a person and with the players that I played with, I do believe it's a player's game to where it's like, hey, even if Coach DeBoer didn't necessarily take that mindset, which I do believe he has the mindset of winning and excellence, that the players, if you were any part of Coach Saban's tenure, you know. So there's no one to blame because you understand that, hey, the standard of excellence, it doesn't go anywhere. So I think, you have now, you got to be mindful with everything that goes on in society with the generation to come. And I'm not much older. I'm only 28. But I think, like, I'm not much older than these guys, but I think it comes down to a mindset and keeping the main thing the main thing.
The main
You
thing.
set you
Yeah.
set a standard, a precedent for this year. This is the goal that we're gonna achieve, and anything that stands into our way, we're gonna destroy it. We're gonna strike it down. And I think you have to take that mindset week in and week out. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, hey, again, I'm gonna roll tide and I be cheering them on next week in the Iron Bowl.
that's gonna be
But
a good Iron Bowl now.
we're gonna wrap what you say, Joshua?
That's gonna be a heck of an Iron Bowl now because Auburn, they're riding on a big high. Then Bama
Oh,
yeah,
really needs a dominant win. And so
yes,
this is
yeah.
gonna be a good
absolutely.
Iron Bowl.
But you know
This
what? Auburn winning yesterday, it does. If it does help our case if we
It
are
does.
able to dominate
It
them.
does.
No,
It gives
I
us,
agree.
yeah.
It is a totally different Iron Bowl than we would have thought 2 weeks ago. Okay, so we are going to wrap it up, but I do have to say this, and I hope I'm getting my information correct. So, Tammie, if I'm not mistaken, when Joshua was in college, you made the decision to go back to college. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And he was so proud of you when he was talking about you doing that. And do I have my facts correct in that you went and got an associate's degree, and then you went and got a bachelor's degree?
And I'm currently working on my master's. Yeah.
I mean, Josh, what on earth, what example does that set for you?
I think
Because that almost makes me want to cry.
that example, and I'm surprised Mom didn't say that for our bonding moments. Matter of fact, when we were, and I'm not gonna be too long, when I was at Bama, it was like 2017. And I never forget, Mom came up there just to visit and everything. She said, baby, I just want to come up there and see you. And Mama, do you remember when we went for that walk in the park? It was the river walk.
Yes, I love that.
It was the river walk. And we was just talking about life and talking about good things. And I never forget, I told my mom, I said, Mom, God said, the Lord has you here for such an amazing purpose. I said, you raised your children, you raised us to be great people. You raised us to just do extraordinary things. I said, now it's your time. Yeah. I said, if you want to go back to school, if you want to go and achieve whatever dreams that you want to achieve. 2 days later, I never forget, my sister called me. She said, Mom is registering for classes. And it was like,
y'all really gonna make me cry.
She was like, Mom is registering for classes. And it was a lot, even with a lot of adversity that came up, because I'm still in college, my brother's in college, she's still helping my sister with her children, and then on top of that, my brother with his kids, and she's being there for my grandmother in every type of way. And she's married. To see that form of resilience was everything to me, and she did it, and she graduated. So it was something like, it's no excuse why you can't achieve, because there were nights, I still remember this, to where she would be babysitting my nephew, and she wouldn't be able to actually do her work until like 10 o'clock at night, staying up till like 1 and 2 in the morning to get her assignments done. I remember that. So, it's like with me, I'm working on my 3rd degree, and it's funny because we'll actually be in the same program at the same time. I'm getting my master's in mental health counseling as well. She's getting her master's in mental health counseling, because I want to ultimately, I'm a teacher now, and I've been fell in love with, I'm head substitute for my school, and I'll be teaching next year, and I'll coach high school football. So it's going to be interesting, because, I can see her now. She'll be calling me, asking me, well, what do you think about this, the Gestalt theory and all this type of stuff? So she just taught me
group projects together.
Yeah,
and
man.
all that.
It just, like I said, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to wrap it up. She taught me to dream, and to dream big. And don't you ever in life put limitations on yourself. But not only did she tell me that, once again, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, she modeled it.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, I can't find another way to end this.
No, it's practice what you preach, and I think that's exactly, to a T. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So thank y'all so much. Y'all gonna have to come back, because we could
talk all day. Honestly, yeah. It feels like we're in church right now. Which is
I love
it. I've been cleansed a little bit.
Proud. I'm so proud of both of you.
Thank you.
And so we're gonna wrap up. What is this, episode 15, Jordan?
Episode 15, yep.
Episode 15, A Mom Knows Ball. Our mom, I know a little ball.
And she's crying too. That's okay.
I know, y'all really do. I'm sorry. Tammie, do you know ball? Do you know ball?
Yes.
She know ball. Joshua, do you know a little ball?
I know a little ball.
You know a little ball. And Jordan, yeah, he thinks he knows ball. Thank y'all. Like, subscribe, comment, share.